All right, so let's start with the big story that we are tracking on WION at this hour. Thousands of followers from Pakistan's far-right Islamist group gathered in Lahore as the situation very quickly turned violent. Also, there were reports of a car ramming through the security officers, resulting in deaths of at least about 3 police personnel and leaving many others injured. The clashes between the Tehreek-e-Labbaik Pakistan and the security forces led to many other people getting injured. Police resorted to firing tear gas canisters in a bid to try and disperse the crowd. But the protesters belonging to the Tehreek-e-Labbaik have alleged that the security forces resorted to using heavy-handed means to curtail their protest. The violent clashes have come after negotiations between the authorities and the banned group have broken down. The protesters gathered to demand 2 very specific things. Firstly, they are demanding for the immediate release of Saad Hussain Rizvi, who is the 26-year-old leader of the Tehreek-e-Labbaik Pakistan group. Secondly, they are also demanding for the immediate expulsion of the French ambassador over controversial cartoons that depicted Prophet Muhammad wearing a bomb on his turban. Now, at the protest side, the demonstrators also called the Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan as simply incompetent to rule, and have accused Imran Khan of resorting to bullying tactics in a bid to disperse the protesters.
हमारी डिमांड ये है कि हम पहले दिन से कह रहे थे कि ये नाअहल है, नालायक है, कठपुतली है, इसको मुल्क चलाने की कोई समझ नहीं है, ये मुल्क का बेड़ा गर्क करेगा। उस वक्त हमारी बात कोई नहीं मान रहा था। आज 3 साल के बाद बच्चा कह रहा है कि ये नाअहल है, नालायक है, सेलेक्टेड है। आम आदमी की ज़िंदगी अजीरन हो गई, गरीब आदमी 2 वक्त के खाने के लिए परेशान है। हमारा मुतालबा ये है कि ये जान छोड़े।
All right, so that is what the protesters who belong to the Tehreek-e-Labbaik Pakistan have to say about the Pakistani Prime Minister, accusing him of being a selected Prime Minister and simply incompetent to rule Pakistan. Now, to give us more insights in terms of why these protests are happening and where all of this, of course, will lead up to, we're joined in by our correspondent Anas Malik, who is joining us live on this broadcast. Good morning to you, Anas. We saw what unfolded in the streets of Lahore. These, we are given to understand, are members of the Tehreek-e-Labbaik Pakistan, a party that's been banned within Pakistan. And they've got 2 specific demands. They want the immediate release of Saad Rizvi, and they also want the immediate expulsion of the French ambassador from Pakistan. What are we likely to expect? Who is likely to blink first?
Well, in all likelihood, Saleh, we're expecting the release of Saad Rizvi, the leader or the supreme leader of Tehreek-e-Labbaik, who's currently under detention under the MPO or maintenance of public order. The Tehreek-e-Labbaik had given an ultimatum, the brand Tehreek-e-Labbaik had given an ultimatum to the Pakistani government to release Saad Rizvi by this past Thursday evening, or otherwise they would march until Islamabad and carry with their sit-in until 2 things are done. One, Saad Rizvi is released, and second, the part of the commitment that the government did with them of expelling the French ambassador in April earlier this year, that was also to be met in case if they would have marched on till Islamabad, and now they are marching till Islamabad given that the government has refused to release Saad Rizvi. Saleh?
Right, now, at this point of time, this is not a protest that we are witnessing just in the last couple of days, because this is something that's been a spillover from what unfolded earlier in the month of April, where the members of this particular party, Tehreek-e-Labbaik Pakistan, they also demanded for the expulsion of the French ambassador. The government at that time said that they will think over it. Any updates on that front?
Well, you're absolutely right on that. The government of Pakistan, but now as we speak, they have outrightly denied expelling the French ambassador to Pakistan for one reason, for the fact that Pakistan cannot afford estranged relations with the EU given its current economic conditions. Therefore, that part of the deal that they did in April to disperse the TLP crowd that does not hold any ground, at least for the government. The protesters demand that the government should be honoring their part of the deal or the commitment. So therefore there is a deadlock on that bit, but the government is very firm on that they will not be expelling the French ambassador come what may. On to the second part of their demand, what orchestrated or originated or gave birth to this protest is the release of Saad Rizvi, and we can possibly see the release of Saad Rizvi anytime soon, probably in days to come, probably by tomorrow or day after or even earlier. But given that these are violent protesters and TLP is a banned or proscribed organization, therefore the government would not want to be seen as somebody from not from the position of strength, somebody bowing down as a government, as a state functionary. They would not want to be seen bowing down to a proscribed organization, for the fact that they just got done with the FATF meeting and Pakistan is still on the grey list. So therefore that would be bad optics, that would be something that would be adverse for the Pakistani government. Therefore we would see some agreement being reached, but one thing that is for sure, that the French ambassador will not be expelled. Saleh?
All right, my last question to you, Anas, is because, watching these protests from outside of Pakistan, it's interesting to see how the Tehreek-e-Labbaik Pakistan in fact operates. They resort to carrying out protests of this nature on and off, and it virtually brings the city of Lahore to a virtual standstill. How popular is this far-right group, Tehreek-e-Labbaik, within Pakistan?
Well, Tehreek-e-Labbaik enjoys a greater support within a section of the religio-political circle in Pakistan, because there was a gap when it came to one of these sections since 2015, and that gap was filled by the Tehreek-e-Labbaik. So since 2015, Tehreek-e-Labbaik has been there. It derives its powers from the ground and not from those at the power corridors. That is its strength. A lot of middle class people are, if not active members of the TLP, of the banned TLP, then at least they are sympathizers of the TLP, and that is how it enjoys its popular support. That is one of the reasons that is a cause of concern for the government, because TLP enjoys that religio-political circle support, that right-wing support that is the swing away vote when it comes to the formation of any government, and that is the reason the government has to be very cautious in dealing with them, because elections would be in Pakistan in the next 2 years or so, or probably less than that, and the incumbent government would not want to have that vote bank miffed at any cost.
All right, we'll have to leave there. Thank you very much indeed, Anas Malik, for joining us and getting us all those updates there. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.